Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name is Austin. Horizon American Saga stars Kevin Costner. Not really. He's actually hardly in this movie, actually. So it's more of like he's the the bigger pay because he did direct this. He did write it, I think, and he is in it. So I guess he does get the bigger pay. Families, friends, and foes discover the lore of the Old West as the Civil War divides the country. One thing straight off right of the back about things I like, and there's not very many of it, unfortunately, is that the acting in this movie, the cinematography, the directing is all fantastic. I did like the first hour of this movie. The first hour of this movie kind of somewhat set up the film, but kind of loses itself because it gets all tangled with one another and kind of doesn't really make any sense. Now this is a part one, but even good part one still somewhat tie a story up in a way, but then leaves you wanting more. Be like, all right, I got to see part two. This one doesn't. Like, you have this Indian tribe who attacks this like small settlement called Horizon because they don't like it being near this river. And so you have like the U.S. Like American Army coming in trying to somewhat revive people, like revive things, like save people, bring them back to the camp. And next you have this other side that wants to go find the Indians. So they send off to find the Indians and basically get revenge. But then you also have this revenge storyline with this one chick, and you also have this other tribe, that the American tribe, moving across the state. And it's like I'm trying to think of like, were they part of Horizon, or are they trying to get to Horizon? This is actually very confusing. I don't remember any of these characters at all. I've never seen these characters before. So like this has to be a new storyline. And actually you have Kevin Costner's storyline as well in the film, who gets intertwined with the revenge storyline. And so it's like there's like four different storylines going on in the film that it feels very messy. Like it really does feel very messy, that really they should have picked and choose on what they wanted to focus on, which would have been the Americans versus the Indians, which had the most interesting, because I actually kind of felt like agreements on both sides. So with that conflict, it actually made a good interesting plot, a good tension film, because it's like you understand the Indians, like, okay, this is sacred to them, they don't want things to change, but you have the American side trying to evolve things as well, which is, but then it gets lost into this movie that is 3 hours long, which shouldn't be 3 hours long. There's no need for this movie to be 3 hours long. I don't like, and next you have like four different parts coming out after this. This movie is just a mess. It really is big, and that says it even more when you don't even know who the fuck the main character is. People will say it's Kevin Costner. It's not Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner doesn't show up until like an hour into the movie, and he probably has less screen time. I guarantee you this. He hasn't like maybe like 40 minutes of screen time in this movie. Guarantee it. And he like, I would say maybe this mother and daughter has more screen time than them, but even they feel rushed. They're like, they kind of lose like family members, and it feels like they moved on way too fast. And it's like you don't get a good sense of how much time has passed. Like it feels like maybe 2 weeks have passed, and like she's moving on to some form of like new love interest. It's like, wait, what? You're telling me that people just died and you're moving on that fast? Like it doesn't make any sense. Now, someone has pointed out to me, like, when you look at Kevin's Costner, where he is like at the moment in time of the film, like you can see that like there's leaves changing, that there's fall, but it's like that doesn't show off like how much time has passed really. Like Kevin Costner is like in a completely different state, but are the two like the mother and the daughter characters are in like the desert. So that's not really a good exposition of like, hey, this is how much time has passed. All we for know is that it could started at the beginning of fall, like that's, or like that it is in fall, and just one is just shows it more than the other because one is in the desert and one's not. And so this movie this movie could have been done a lot better at times, and there's elements of their like actually like good things in this movie. The action is a lot of fun. Like I said, the acting is cool, like really good, and the cinematography is really cool. and I enjoyed the first hour. But then the movie started losing me when it tried to integrate all these different subplots, like the revenge storyline and this other tribe, and trying to somewhat tie up the Indian somewhat storyline. Like you have that slightly getting tied up, but too much is being left up in the air about these other stories that you don't feel like there was nothing, like doesn't feel like anything was accomplished at all in this film besides one slightly thing that could have been, from how the film handled it, easily, like, finished in like less than an hour. And that's why there's like an hour and a half of this movie that feels pointless. I'm gonna give Horizon and American Saga a C minus. It is fine. I did really like the first hour of the film, and the cinematography, the acting is really good, and the action is a lot of fun. And there's slight elements after that that I can somewhat get behind. But this movie is a mess. There's no sense of who the main character is. There's no sense of urgency in this film. It's just very bland. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.